your degree, trying to understand what you need to do. You have an academic advisor, or who is there somebody on staff there who works with you?
No, not really. We have these general advisors who can tell you something generally about studying and the general study life, and we have one, so to say, advisor, but I wouldn't call it advisor. It's just a person who knows more than any other.
Okay, and maybe you can talk a bit about life, like sort of life outside of the classroom at the university.
Oh, life outside is great. We have, it's pretty small, but because of that, you can meet so many people because it's like a university city. So nothing's far away, and we have a little street. It's the Wagnergasse. There are many bars and cafes and stuff. So that's nice, really. And we have a huge campus, so there you can sit in the outside in the summer. And we have a huge park. It's the Paradise Park. It's called Paradise, actually, and it's really nice.
Good. And what about accommodations there? Where do students live? Do they have dormitories, or do students live in apartments? What is it like in a university, typical German university town like Jena?
Oh, we have both. So there are like some homes from university, so where you have to apply for at the university. Most people live in collocations, like I did. So you search for a room and you share the apartment with 3 or 4 others. That's what most students do.
The term Wohngemeinschaft in German, right?
Yeah, that's it. I think that's really common in Germany. Especially
that's great. And do they offer, different types of clubs and sports and things like that as well?
Yeah, we have university sport where you can apply for too or just subscribe. So there are different things, dancing, volleyball, whatever you like, even swimming or something like that. You can play in a team either or only as you like.
Great. Well, if maybe I'll encourage our listeners, if you have any questions directly for Juliana, to please email in. We have a number of sort of common questions that we're going to address now. I think maybe, Jane, why don't we do this? Why don't you read and answer one, and I'll read and answer another? We'll just go back and forth.
Yeah, let's do that. Okay. Somebody asked what the language part of the undergraduate application is, and there were a couple questions about that language part of the language portion of the language certificate. There is on all of our application, on all of our scholarship applications, there is a language component to it, and so it's a one-page, very, very short language evaluation sheet. So what you need to do with that is to take that sheet to a German language instructor, say your German language professor at your university, your TA at your university. If you studied language at a Goethe Institute or any kind of a language center, you can have them fill that that form out on your behalf. It comes one of two ways. When you fill out the application form online, it'll print out with the rest of your application form. You're going to see that page. And then you just take it to your professor or you email it to them. You can also download that form from the applications section on our website. The other thing about that is the language portion for the undergraduate scholarship is that we're not looking for any, it's not a test, so we're not looking for a specific level, unless what you propose to do does have require a very high level of German. Then we're going to want to see that your language skills match up with what you're trying to do. But it's not a test. It's just an evaluation to let us know how much German the people who get DAAD scholarships have when they go there. The other question about it was, there is a similar question regarding the language certificate. And the undergraduate doesn't have it, but check to see the online, all of the application guidelines online at daad.org. You're going to find the undergraduate scholarship has the very specific guidelines there for it, and then there are some programs that do have a specific language requirement. And everybody fills out the same form.
we've had a number of questions regarding RISE, so I think I will address those. The first of which is how does one apply for RISE? And very simply, a database will go live at the beginning of December for RISE and RISE Professional, for that matter. And the way it works is that you apply online. You look through the database for both programs, actually, and you choose up to 3 internships that you think would be a good fit. You submit electronically the documents that are called for. Those dossiers are then collected by our colleagues in Bonn and are passed on to your prospective hosts. And so what happens is the host then screens, usually there's not an interview required. In a very rare case, there might be a phone call from the potential host. And then you receive a letter of acceptance. What happens is that we have funding for a certain number of internships. In some cases, if you have not, as far as your ranking is concerned, having been vetted by the selection committee, if you don't, let's say you don't make the cut for the funding, but you do, fall in that sort of border area, and your host institution wants you, we can discuss with you whether or not we can help you try to secure funding elsewhere. But generally speaking, most of the people who are accepted to RISE are accepted with funding. The database goes live in December. You apply, and as I said, you're screened then by our colleagues in Germany. There is no credit. That was another question. We do not award credit for RISE. It is really up to your home institution back in the US or Canada as to whether or not they want to award credit for your international experience. If they do, they will probably require you to do something like a paper or some sort of research component in addition to what you're doing in the lab to justify them awarding you credit. And just to keep in mind that it is one of our most competitive programs. This is not to dissuade you from applying, but just to let you know that it is a very strong application pool.
Okay, we had a few more questions specifically about our summer language program, and I hope I don't confuse you with the language requirement of the undergraduate scholarship. What the university summer course program, as well as the intensive language course program, that does require current enrollment. You do have to be enrolled either in undergraduate, graduate school, at the time of application. And so if you're a graduating senior and you're going to be out of school before you depart for Germany, that's perfectly understood and that's perfectly okay. But when you apply for it on December 15, you do have to be enrolled. It is specifically for language study, and so it's for German-speaking students. It's not it's a German as Deutsch als Fremdsprache, but it's not for beginner levels. It's specifically for higher levels, intermediate, and advanced levels of German, and so it's for those who are probably got a good amount of German to do advanced courses. If you do have a German background already, if you do speak German and you want to go to Germany for an even more advanced course or to work on any specific aspect of your German language skills, you can use this scholarship as well. Somebody said that they're going to be matriculating in September 2011. Whether they could apply, you would be eligible, of course, to apply next year when you are matriculated. An intermediate course would very likely be, and somebody asked specifically about the intermediate level. Yes, the intermediate level would probably be eligible to apply for the university summer course program.
And I think that brings up actually a number of questions have asked about various criteria for eligibility for students who are a year or two out of their degree. So a number of you seem to be graduating and postponing, let's say, graduate study at a later point. It really varies. It depends on the program for which you are applying. So what I would encourage you to do if you're applying for a graduate scholarship is to go on our website, dad.org, and click on it. I don't think it makes sense to go through all of the programs now to tell you how many years for each program are necessary. But just because you may be a year or two out, of your degree does not mean you're excluded from applying. So I encourage you to go on our website and look up the program for which you want to apply, and as I stated, the criteria are very